The US military has ordered a Navy strike group to move towards the Korean peninsula amid growing concerns about North Korea's missile and nuclear weapons programs. US Pacific Command described the deployment as a prudent measure to maintain readiness in the region. Now, the Carl Vinson strike group, that includes an aircraft carrier and 3 destroyers, is on its way from Singapore to the western Pacific Ocean, where they recently carried out exercises with the South Korean Navy. President Trump has said the US is prepared to act alone if necessary to deal with the nuclear threat from North Korea. Well, let's get some more on this. We can speak to East Asia security expert Professor Robert Kelly from Pusan National University in South Korea. Robert, thanks very much indeed for joining us. I suppose this is, to one extent, the logical next step from a US administration which has acknowledged the strategy towards North Korea doesn't work and they won't like missile testing by North Korea. But where could this be leading, do you think?
Yeah, I think that's sort of the big question, because I think it would actually be far harder to strike North Korea than it would Syria. The Syria operation was conducted in a few hours, 59 strikes, and we moved on. Maybe Trump will come back. But, to get all this stuff in North Korea that we want to hit, the missiles and the various nuclear facilities and stuff, would require a really intense bombing campaign that might take days, perhaps even weeks. If Trump, once Trump commits, once he pulls the trigger, this would actually be a pretty large operation. It could easily spiral out of control, which is why I remain very, very skeptical that we'll actually do this. So I would say this is probably a show of strength. It would be very risky if we go forward.
Yeah, but given what we have seen in the course of the last few days in Syria, I imagine that there will be concerns, to say the least, in South Korea in particular.
Yes, that's right. I mean, one of the reasons why I think it would be difficult for Donald Trump to strike North Korea is because he would need the political approval, he would need the permission, if you will, of South Korea and Japan, because they would be the ones to absorb any counterfire. That is to say, the North Koreans, if they were to strike back, would hit South Korea and Japan most likely. If we, the Americans, were to attack North Korea over the heads of the South Koreans and/or the Japanese, that would be politically disastrous. It would almost certainly ruin the American alliance with one or both of those countries. It would lead to major fallout. It would be a real problem. So we have to at least get sort of local buy-in before we go forward.
So ultimately, this, I should say, look like a strong diplomatic push to get China, to get Japan and South Korea as well, but essentially to get action, collective action, to put a bit of more heat on North Korea.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when Barack Obama left office, he told Donald Trump, at least we believe so, it's been widely reported, that he told Donald Trump that North Korea would be the biggest single issue in his foreign policy. And I would agree with that. North Korea has been building towards a nuclear-tipped ballistic missile, intercontinental ballistic missile, for a long time. They said they want to do this. They've said they want the ability to strike the American homeland. They're still a while away from that, 5 to 10 years probably, but they're on their way, and they've been on their way for a while. You're hearing these rumors about another nuclear test coming up. And so they're moving along, and they haven't really stopped for a while, right? I mean, it's been 20 years now. And I think the Trump people are really starting to get to the point, under the Trump administration, we're getting to the point where we're reaching some kind of decision here where something needs to be done. And ideally, it's best if China takes care of this. And so that's what this really is. It's probably signaling to China, like,